Yes, we're back. Today we have the full review on the Beyerdynamic 150, the DT150 headphones. What can I say about this headphone that hasn't already been said by me? I'll have to think about it, but I have to be pretty fast, otherwise this review will be pretty bad. So let's talk about this headphone. Let me preface this review by saying, first of all, if you want all the technical details, the response, correction and everything, go to Headfire, because that all the good stuff is written there, because I cannot remember all the important stuff on a video. That's more relevant on paper in text. So I've written all the important stuff on Headfire. Go and check it out if you want the proper breakdown of the response, and if you want to correct it, if you want the best fidelity possible, go on Headfire. But I'll be talking about all the in flowery language on YouTube, because apparently people don't understand what I'm saying. I got many PMs after my last review. People are saying like, fantastic review, thank you, but what the fuck are you speaking? We cannot understand anything. So please dumb it down for us, because we don't understand what you're saying, and even if it makes sense, we don't understand it, so it's pretty useless. So I took that into account, and I'm gonna be slightly less complicated when I say, and I'll be using flowery language like soft, smooth, lush, wet. Sounds pretty wet, sounds pretty thick, sounds pretty tight. It sounds wet, thick and tight. So I'll be talking about those things on YouTube. So let's start off with the DT150. Now, a lot of people hate on the looks of this headphone. Thing to consider about this headphone: this was launched in '68. At least the DT100 was. Just as a reference, I was born in '97. This was launched in '68 in I think Stuttgart or Berlin. There was a fest where Beyerdynamic launched it, and this was the 100, not the 150, but same family, in 1968. That is a long time. I was born in '97. Just compare that. Just take that as a reference, and then talk about it being not as good looking as it is. I personally don't mind the looks. Looks really, they don't mean anything personally to me, because again, it's all about the sound in the end. But again, some people hate on the looks, and I can understand why. But again, it's pretty irrelevant to talk about the looks when you're talking about the performance, when the performance of the headphone matters. So I kind of think all of that is BS, so skip that. Overall comfort and stuff, these are pretty big headphones. As you can see, the headband, I mean, this shape is not of a head. Humans don't have a notch here, a notch here, a notch here. It's pretty weird design. Personally, not a huge fan of it. It's not the most comfortable headphone out there. It's among the worst ones I've heard. I've put on my head. But again, you can live with it. Give it some break-in time. Pads will break in really nicely. My friend who bought this headphone on my recommendation, he uses this like every day, and he came over to my house and he showed me his pads. His pads are like completely properly conformed to his own head, which I thought was amazing. So this headphone it breaks in very well to the user's head size and shape and stuff. So that's something nice about this headphone. So if you are worried about the seal being bad, which it is, and I've talked about all of those things on Headfire, then just stay with this, let it break in for some time, and it should essentially be normal after that. Now, in terms of sound of this headphone, as I said, all the detail is on Headfire, so go and check it out there. But this headphone, to me, flat, no correction, it's pretty boring. It's just a boring headphone. The bass is severely rolled off. There's no energy in the sub bass at all. I mean, there's just no sub bass. You have some mid bass, very similar to the Sennheiser 650, 600 headphones. Pretty similar mid bass presentation you get with the 150. Obviously, a much higher quality bass with the Beyerdynamics than the Sennheisers. But again, you get the similar frequency response characteristic with the 150 if you compare to the 600, 650 series. The mid range is the best way to describe the mid range is that the lower mid range is flat, and the upper mid range kind of dips in slightly. So you have this sort of it's not full bodied, but there is the mid range accentuation, which is not characteristic for Beyerdynamic headphones. So you have lower mid range flat, upper mid range is slightly recessed, and then the treble kind of lingers around, and then again it rolls off up top. So you have this very dry presentation. So you got to correct that. If you don't correct that, it will not sound pretty good. So just correct it and it should sound pretty good. I've got all the correction, data and stuff on Headfire, so check it out there. But overall, uncorrected, it's pretty dry. It's not the best sounding. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this headphone. Definitely needs correction. After correction, it's one of the best sounding headphones I ever made. So just correct it and it should sound pretty good. Now in terms of sound state and stuff, just a normal headphone. I mean, there's no specific character to the sound stage that I can find with this headphone. So I personally, I really don't care about it. It's just, if you get the right fidelity, the stage and stuff will be natural as the headphone is. So it really doesn't matter in the end once you correct everything, because it should sound pretty much the same as every headphone in the world with a normal chamber enclosure and stuff. So I recommend the 150. It's a great headphone. It's a legend, a fantastic headphone. Build quality is just amazing. I mean, people have been using these for decades, and they just throw this headphone around, beat it and stuff, and just murder this headphone, and it still goes, it goes, and it never stops. So if you want a headphone which is pretty reliable, get this headphone. They are still in production. All parts still available. In fact, this headphone has a system available, so you can buy the system itself, which is the 100. You cannot buy the system alone. I mean, you can if you have special order and stuff, but it's not easily accessible. So let's say you break the system for this, you can easily get it from your local seller. But if your DT 100 breaks, you gotta special order it, and they'll make a transducer specifically according to your specification and stuff. So that's something good about the 150, that you have all these parts in stock and available and stuff. So that's really nice about the 150. Overall, as I said, highly recommended. Great headphone. Sounds pretty good. Build quality is fantastic. Comfort, not so much. Cable is proprietary 6-pin connection. By the way, one thing to keep in mind also, the DT250, both look like they use the same connector, but they don't. This was something I did not know personally. Unbelievable that I didn't know that. But they use different connectors. They have the DT250 has a middle pin, so I think it's a 7-pin design, or it's a 6-pin. Just the notching of the pins is slightly different. It's slightly altered, so you cannot use the same cables for both headphones, which is sort of a bummer, I think, and sort of really stupid move. I think it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have first of all a proprietary connection, and then again have different pin layout for the same connector, which is again pretty rare. So personally, not a huge fan of that, but again, it's pretty fine. It's a cheap headphone. You can get it for pretty cheap. These goes for like $200, which is relatively less amount of money considering what we have in the market nowadays, and for the performance it gives you. Great value, great headphone. Beyerdynamic DT 150. I really like this headphone. It's just made to last. This will last you a lifetime if you take care of it, and if you don't, it will at least last you at least half a lifetime. So pretty good headphone. Take it easy, and like always, have a good one. All right.